Hey there, it's Tank Girl, and this is the Motorola CLIQ 2. It was launched at CES and I got a review unit. So this is the box, as you can see here, and serial number, and in the back there's some info here. Anyway, let's take the lid off. So yeah, Motorola gave me this review unit at CES, and so supposedly it's a big improvement over the original CLIQ. It's basically an evolution of the design. There's no battery door. It's inside, I think, the box. But the most unusual feature is this very strange looking alien beehive-ish keyboard. But the rest is pretty faithful to the original CLIQ with improvements. So let's go through what's in the box, and I'll give you a walk around and maybe first boot and stuff. So this is a Moto Blur phone, meaning you're going to have to deal with the Moto Blur registration at turn on. I don't even know my password, so I'm not even going to attempt to do it. So this little card is there for this purpose. Here you have this little tray that contains some of the manuals and things. Yeah, specifically, there is a Terms and Condition Return Policy Limited Warranty and the Start Guide, which looks like your standard fare stuff. Of course, the other side is Spanish. Actually, not on this one, but on this one. And then going further, we have the headset here. This is obviously a four-pronged mini jack affair, as usual for modern phones. And then we have the AC adapter, standard Motorola AC adapter here. It's got a USB port somewhere, probably up top here. I'm not sure, I can't see it. But I'll take this off at some point, take some pictures. And then you have the battery, and this is a BP 6X. Let's see if there's any kind of information here on the capacity. It's a 1390 milliamp hour battery. I think this is actually the same battery that's used on the Droid Pro and Droid 2, possibly the original Droid as well. And then here the standard micro USB data cable. You can see the USB end right here, and of course, somewhere buried in here is a micro USB connector. There you have it. And then finally the battery cover, which shows you how to insert the battery, etc. And it's got this kind of cool little pattern. I'll take this out in a second so we can start the phone up. And then there's a couple more instructions here. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be there or not, or in the tray with the rest of the stuff. It's safety regulation, legal info, and warranty card. Actually, no, this is the return card. If you do not like the phone, you can send it back. And that's it for the box. So let's just do a quick walk around on the phone here. So in the front, you have the usual 4 capacitive buttons you'd find on any Android phone. The menu, home, back, and search buttons, T-Mobile logo, and really nothing until you hit the Motorola logo on top here, as well as the earpiece. In the back, there's obviously a serial number and a camera cover. This is a 5 megapixel autofocus camera with what looks like a dual LED flash. In fact, from the looks of the lens, just having recently reviewed the Droid Pro, this is the same camera as the Droid Pro, and that was a good one. So hopefully we'll feel the same way about the CLIQ 2. There's a micro SD card in here. Let me see if I can dig it out, see what size this card is. You just lift this little flap and you pull the card out. Looks like a 2 gigabyte card. Let's see if I can put this back with one finger. Now that it's at an angle, I doubt it. There we go. Perfect. And then the SIM card goes in here, and I have a card here, so I'm actually going to put it in right now. Since I'm going to start this up in a minute. Like that. I think you're supposed to insert from this end, but then let's do a tour of the side. Starting with the left hand side, get pretty much nothing on top here. until you hit the micro USB charging port with, I believe, an LED indicating the charge state, which I kind of like. A lot of Motorola phones have that, and it's a pretty nice feature to have. It doesn't look like there's anything on the bottom other than the place to put your finger to release the battery. And then on the right hand side here, we've got the camera dual detent camera button. This feels really quite nice, actually. And then you have nothing until you hit the lock switch. Now this is a nice little feature from there you go, from the original CLIQ had a lock switch. Not a very common feature on an Android phone, but it's nice to have, I think. The Palm Pre has it too, and of course, well, actually on the Palm Pre on the iPhone, it's a silent switch. Or maybe actually this is silent. I'm not quite sure if it's lock or silent anymore. The volume rocker. Maybe my camera will even focus at some point before tomorrow. There we go. So here's the volume rocker, and then on the very top, same as the original CLIQ, you get the power button and the 3.5mm standard headphone jack. Now, of course, as I've shown you, this is a slider. It has a keyboard, and this is one of the kind of more unusual features of this phone. It's kind of like a membrane keyboard, and it looks like this kind of weird alien beehive pattern. The verdict is still out. I'm not sure I like this. The key travel is very, very short. And I think this seems to have been done just for purely aesthetic reasons rather than anything else. So, I'm not sure about this. But the slider feels really quite nice. So, let's get the battery here and unseal it. And let's get the battery cover here. Unseal that, if I can. This seems to be very hard to open. And, yep, very hard to open. And here's the battery door. And we also need to take this front sticker off. And we're in business to turn this guy on. Here's what it looks like without the sticker. Nice and clean design with a silver edge. And so let me put the battery in. There we go, I think. Yep. And then let me put the battery cover on, which I believe starts on the bottom. You can see there's two notches here for this seems to be a little harder to insert than I expected. It's actually the other way around, like that. So as you can see, there's a couple of notches at the bottom here for the speakerphone. And this is what it looks like now. The edges of it with the battery door on. And also, it's the camera with the battery door on. And as you can see, it's got this interesting little pattern on it. So let's turn this guy on. See the red LED and the Motorola logo. Let's find out what happens. We're probably just going to get to the blur startup screen. Here's a little animation. Blur animation you see on a lot of phones. So this has very similar guts to the Motorola Defy, but with a sliding keyboard and not water resistant. So it should be a pretty snappy and zappy little phone. Big improvement over the original CLIQ, I hope. So interesting, it says emergency calls only. Oh no, we're on T-Mobile now. 3G. That's as expected. So obviously this is an AWS phone. And here we are. Welcome to MotoBlur. This is the registration screen. So I'm not going to continue here because I don't remember my MotoBlur login. What I'm going to do instead is lock the screen and give you some size comparisons with some common phones. I have returned a lot of the phones that I had before the holidays because they were all, well, not all, but most of them were loaners. So let's start with the iPhone 4. Give you an idea of what this looks like. The CLIQ 2 has a 3.7-inch display, or 3.8, I'm not sure. And then of course you get 3.5 from the iPhone 4. And the back looks like this. And of course, stacking them together, Clearly the click's a little thicker, but not too bad. It's got a interesting little bump on the bottom here, seems like. And then another really popular phone right now is the Nexus S. So this is my Nexus S, 4-inch display here, just for size comparison here. We can show you what it looks like. And the back here, as you can see, the Nexus S is a bit bigger. And then, of course, the Nexus S has a curved display, which you can clearly see here. Thickness-wise, the CLIQ 2 is a little thicker, but it's not too bad. And then finally, I don't have too many sliders, but I have this HTC Surround, which is, actually this is a 3.8 inch, so this might just be 3.7. So this is the HTC Surround for AT&T. It's a Windows Phone 7 phone. And it's not really a slider because, well, it's just the speakers, right? Compared to the keyboard. But, you know, I don't really actually have any other sliders right now. So this will have to do. Let me see here. This is what it looks like. Oh, there's another little piece of plastic in the back here. Remove that as well. Hard to remove. Wow. There we go. So that's what it looks like. And I think actually it's like the original CLIQ. It has the backlit. I don't know if it's backlit, but on the original CLIQ, this part with backlit here, the Motorola logo. So I'm not sure if the screen is off. Yes, the screen is off. See if it'll light up when I turn the screen on. Doesn't look like it. That's too bad. So anyway, the verdict's still out as to whether this is backlit like on the original CLIQ. But you can see the back. And I wanted to just compare this with the Surround so you can see the back. This is a kickstand on the back of the Surround. The two phones side by side. And thickness, this is a bit of a fairer comparison. As you can see, the CLIQ is just a slight bit thicker than the Surround, but not by much. So, there you have it. The Motorola CLIQ 2 on T-Mobile. A Moto Blur phone with a pretty modern set of specs. Expect some pictures and probably a camera review coming from me in the next few weeks. And that's it for now. Cheers.